Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another new episode of ABunchOfMarks. My name is Brian Daniels. I am the host. And on this episode, we have friend of the show and Bullpen Pro Wrestling's commentator, Rocko Jerome, is back with us. What's going on, Rocko?
That's me, Daddy-O. What's happening?
Dude, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, man. It's good to have you back on another episode of our show. And of course, my other two fellow Marks are here. We got my lovely wife, Raven.
Hi.
Hey, and chipper. You have a chipper voice. Hey. And then, of course, my podcast tag team partner, Josh Thundershaver. What's going on, Josh?
Yo, I'm ready to talk some wrestling.
We talk some wrestling. That's what we are. We are professional wrestling marks.
That's right.
Before we get into it, I want to thank everybody for listening to us over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio. We're all over the place. We're a horse for podcasting places. And if you listen to us on Good Pods, thank you in particular because you have made our show another top 5 pro wrestling podcast. Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you for that. Before we get into our topics of conversation tonight, I do want to talk about our sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is one of the nation's largest online ticketing websites and apps. And thanks to SeatGeek, we are giving you the ability to save $20 on your very first purchase of $50 or more. So you can get tickets to, I don't know, pro wrestling shows, concerts, sporting events, and they even have Broadway musicals on there as well, if those are your thing. I know Josh loves Broadway musicals, one of his favorite things. And use our promo code, the domain GPCE10 right now. You can download the SeatGeek app today on Android or iOS devices, or you can go to SeatGeek.com. All right, guys, let's get into it. So it is our second episode of the month. And if you don't know what that means it is a Raven React episode. That's right. So if you don't know by now, we're like 24 some episodes into the show.
Yeah.
We're kind of seasoned a little bit now, right? A little over a year old now.
Oh my gosh.
Raven is keep saying I won't be able to say this very long. We get like 3 years in.
I'm not a new
She's not
wrestling fan.
She's not, but she is the youngest wrestling fan here. We'll put it that way. As far as how long you've been watching wrestling.
Correct.
That's fair to say, right? So we do this little thing
I'm
on
the
our
oldest.
oldest, right?
Yeah.
So we do this little thing where Raven reacts to a match she's never seen before. There's a she gets randomly picked. She gets to randomly pick a match of a list of 6. She's going to eliminate them one by one. Once the list of 6 is over, we start a whole new one. And here's how this goes: one match is a bad match, right? Another match is a match that I have also not seen, so that'll be fun. But it doesn't matter because all the matches Raven still hasn't seen yet. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about the match that we just watched a little over an hour ago. And the fun part, too, is also that Josh doesn't know what... Josh knows the matches. Rocko doesn't know any of the matches on the list.
Right. But Josh doesn't know which one I've watched.
Neither of them know what match she watched.
I don't.
Yeah.
So what I always like to do is I'm a little bit of a history buff. I like to talk about the history of this match and the surrounding moments of the match. So this match took place at the Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan on March 29th, 1987 at a little event called WrestleMania 3. 78,000 people were in attendance, 12 matches on the card. And this was for the WWF at the time Intercontinental Championship between Macho Man, Randy Savage, coming into this match as the Intercontinental Champion, taking on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes.
Ricky and Macho Man were both 34 years old at the time of this match. This was actually the very first time the Intercontinental title changed hands at a WrestleMania.
That's why they said that history was made.
That's right. This is back when they came out on those really cool looking mini ring carts that I really wish they'd bring back sometime.
I didn't even notice that during the entrance, but I saw it during the exit. Yeah, that was cool.
You had Jesse the Body Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon on commentary. Classic commentary duo, of which Jesse Ventura has been most recently known to be on.
Man, they were
Saturday Night's Main Event.
It was fun.
Oh yeah. You had George the Animal Steel coming out with a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and the lovely Miss Elizabeth coming out with
also
Macho Man Randy Savage. This match was a little over 15 minutes long, and it ended with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat getting a roll-up pin of Macho Man to win his one and only singles title in WWF, the IC title. The only other title he would go on to win is a tag team championship, and that's it. So, what are your thoughts on the match? What do you think about it?
So I did have some thoughts.
Oh, you got some
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right. All right. What are the thoughts? What do you think?
well, first of all, this was not the bad match.
No, definitely not the bad match.
Okay.
No.
So
Ooh, can you
Brian
guess who
kind of,
picked this match?
oh, gee, Josh, I wonder who that would have been.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
definitely you who picked this match. I already knew that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I knew, I just
He knew that.
surmised that was.
Absolutely.
So Brian actually kind of spoiled the fact that it wasn't the bad match
Yeah.
because when I said that I didn't know who Ricky Steamboat was.
Yeah.
And
man.
I'm sure I had seen
Oh,
him in passing or whatever, but I didn't put
Oh.
name and face together.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't
wait.
know who that is. What?
Brian, didn't we
Yes.
meet Ricky Steamboat?
We met Ricky, but she did not meet Ricky.
Okay. I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
No,
Go
that's not me.
Go ahead. Go
Uh,
ahead.
So I asked Brian, I was like, I don't know who that is. And he
Yeah.
told me, and I was just like, oh yeah, I've never seen him wrestle before. And he was like, oh, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of spoiled that, but
So that was a spoiler that it was not the bad match. However, that did also raise my expectations because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna see something really, really cool from this guy. No, I did not. So I don't know if I would have been, if my reaction or my thoughts would have been a little bit different had Brian not set that up for me in my head.
sorry.
Okay.
My bad.
That's a
But-
fair assessment.
That's my bad.
But so I'm gonna have to take this with a grain, just take this with a grain of salt because I really do think that that kind of like played with
My bad.
played with my head.
I just won't say anything.
Yeah, you can't say anything like that the next time.
My fault.
I was very underwhelmed by this match, especially by Ricky Steamboat because I like again he was like the way he said he was like, oh man, you're in for a treat. No, I was not. It was.
Oh man.
I don't doubt that he's a good wrestler or was a good wrestler. I don't know if he's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive because you guys met him.
Still alive and kicking. Yep.
But
Literally
I don't
kicking.
think that this was a good first match for me to see him in.
Okay.
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 That's not to say that I won't watch anything else of his,
Sure.
obviously.
Sure.
I just don't think this was the best first match. But I haven't seen Macho Man wrestle since I was a kid, dude. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I had wondered if you had because see the thing is I don't know if you've seen the people in the match wrestle.
Yeah, that's
I don't.
yeah, that's
Okay.
another.
You told me that
Yeah.
like right away.
But yeah, I had not seen him wrestle since I was a kid. Maybe as a teenager, but I don't recall.
Right.
I was more impressed with him. I was expecting more out of Steamboat because, and again, Brian didn't necessarily make a big deal of it.
I didn't really like say, oh, man,
no,
he's so
I was
great.
it was just in my head. That's where I took it.
Well.
So, but I was definitely more impressed with Macho Man during this match. I mean, Ricky got his butt handed to him.
Yeah, he really did.
He really did. And that's why I was just kind of like, I can't believe he won this match. Like he totally it was a matter of timing.
Yeah.
And he saw a spot that he took advantage of and it worked for him, for him to win. But,
Okay.
I did think it was kind of funny that Randy kept throwing him out of the ring. He just kept tossing this guy. And I was just like, is he even gonna do anything like back? Like I don't know. It was just a very underwhelming match.
Okay.
For me to see him.
All right. So I will say I haven't watched this match in a long time.
Mhm.
And maybe in my own head, not canon, but memory, maybe I thought this was a better match than it was.
Maybe me too.
What I will say is
it's always different when you watch it as an adult.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
I hadn't watched this
You know?
match in like 10
Yeah.
years, so that is a big
Yeah.
thing. But I will say that some would consider this to be one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. Would you believe that?
So it was funny because when the video ended and it popped up on the screen, the banner 50 greatest matches of all, and I'm just like, what? Okay.
The same
But-
shit I just saw.
But
Yes.
for the time, and everything surrounding it in terms of like story and and stuff like that, I can absolutely see where people would think this was a great.
So what I will say about WrestleMania 3 it also was considered to be one of the most iconic WrestleManias of all time because the main event was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
Oh, see, yeah. So this,
So
and that's another thing too. When you pull a match away from its overall, um, away from its like card
yeah,
or its, it can take away from the overall effect
okay,
because even if there wasn't a whole lot of storyline behind this match that I needed to know, having it on WrestleMania 3 in such a um, huge night, I guess,
yeah,
for a lot of
yeah,
other reasons, that can definitely play a part into how good, quote unquote, good the match is,
right.
if that makes sense. If I'm wording that correctly.
No, you're absolutely right. I will say that I think there are a lot better Ricky the Dragon Steamboat matches out there. I also think there are a lot of really better Macho Man Randy Savage matches out
Mm,
there. But
sorry.
what I will say is this has a lot of iconic moments in the match.
Okay.
The fact that this was the very first time this title had changed hands at Mania is what makes it an iconic match. The fact that it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. This you have to understand. This is a guy who would I compare him to? Jay Uso.
Okay.
Think like a Jay Uso of his time.
Okay.
Kind of that guy who a lot of people were like, okay, like put that belt on him. And you have to also understand that this is an era where WWF
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a lot of titles. Like now and this is what
Mm,
I can't stand
yeah.
kind of about
That's a
modern
lot of
wrestling is
titles.
now
There's
modern wrestling
a lot.
now everybody gets a gold star, right?
Yeah.
So there's like millions of belts everywhere, right? Back then in pro wrestling, you didn't really have a whole lot of belts. I think like back then they only had the WWF World Championship, they had the Intercontinental title, and I think they just had the tab belts, and that was all they had. They had a women's championship too, I think at that time. Oh no, wait, no, they don't think they had one at that time.
At that
But
time, no, I don't
regardless,
think it did.
no. So this was
Like
1987.
1987, yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they have one. So very limited champions. So you have to understand that, like, like okay, Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Champion, that's big. We have to
Mm-hmm.
understand how much bigger that is back then for '87 when people were saying, well, don't give him the World title, give him like the U.S. title, give him a mid card title. There really wasn't a mid card. This was the mid card title, and it wasn't even
Yeah.
considered mid card for its era when you had a guy like Pat Patterson who was the first one who had it for a long time. And we did an episode on this title actually uh, last year. We did a whole conversation about the IC title. I think it's one of the most. I think it's one of the most prestigious titles next to the WWF and then World Heavyweight Championship
I mean, it's the
or the
workman's
NWA title
title.
too.
It's the
What's that,
title
Rock?
for guys who put matches on that have work rates, which at
Right.
that time,
It was the workhorse title.
huge. Between those two guys at that time, that was a lot of moving around for a match
Right. Yeah.
during that time,
Mm-hmm.
especially in WWE.
Yeah. Um. So I mean, it kind of meant more than to have this belt, unlike now, where it's
I
just
would
a
think that, I
belt,
mean, for people
a
that were
sea of
watching
belts.
wrestling, if there was really anybody watching wrestling at that time besides children, besides like literal kids who were
Right.
marked, they were probably like, I bet you, like if you could tune in with like Uncle Dave at the time, I bet this was the only match he even really cared about, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Now what I will say is Ricky Steamboat only had the belt for 67 days.
Okay.
Guess who he lost the belt to?
I have no idea.
He lost the belt to the man that would become the guy who had the belt the longest before Gunther broke his record, the Honky Tonk
Oh,
Man.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He dropped the title to Honky Tonk Man in June. So, about a month and a half later.
Which
And
then
then Honky
set
Tonk,
up him to lose it to Warrior and then
yep.
Warrior.
And the list goes on and on. Right. Um, what did you think about um George Animal Steel, the hairy guy? She gave me this. What do you think about him?
I don't even know. I don't want to be that person because I'm not trying to be, but it kind of grossed me out. Like all the hair, like
Yeah.
on the.
He's a wild guy.
I'm good with like
He was
chest hair.
gross. Like the idea was that he
Thank
was gross.
you. Yes. So I mean,
It's
like
not like it's
I
not like he'd like have his feelings hurt if you said that. Like the
no.
intention of George
Okay.
Animal Steel was that he was gross. He was
Yeah.
like the
So that
freak
was supposed to
circus
be the thing.
State
Okay.
Fair.
Now I don't feel so bad, but
He had a green tongue too. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that,
Oh, yeah.
but it did gross me out. So that was the exact word that I used to Brian.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with chest hair, but like the back hair, dude, it was like he was kind of like a gorilla. It was a little creepy looking. I don't know.
That's funny to me.
I'm glad I don't do that anymore.
What did you
That's
think
the
of
point.
so Miss Elizabeth? Do you know
I knew
anything
you were
about
going to
her?
ask me about
Do you
that.
know anything about her?
Absolutely no, nothing. No.
There's a real big storyline there.
Oh, Lord.
Not till I think like WrestleMania was like 4 or 5, something like
Okay.
that. There's a big storyline that goes on later between like her, Hulk Hogan, and Macho Man Randy Savage. It's kind of crazy.
Okay.
Maybe you'll watch that match one day.
Maybe.
That's later. That's like 3 or 4 years out from that. If you had to rate this match out of like 5 stars, what would you give it?
2.5.
Oh, shit.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
will say-
maybe a 3. I don't know.
All right, here's what this is. First of all, I'm glad that we're not on camera because my faces have been wild during this whole episode so far. It's the
I
thing is
wondered.
like
Here we
when
go.
you show
Oh,
Citizen Kane to a 16-year-old, and they're like, "Well, what
that's a
was the
good
point? What
comparison.
was even the point of that? Like, why even? Like, why did it look like? What's the big deal? Why do you care? There's
Yeah.
it's hard to for someone who hasn't seen or wasn't around for that era of wrestling.
Right. And that's why I
It's
had that
hard to
disclaimer.
really
Take this
expect
with
someone to watch it
That's
and be
why I
like,
had this
blown away.
disclaimer. Take this with a grain of salt because I could tell that it was kind of pulled out of whatever context. Do you know what I mean? Like it was not
The
going to have
context was that it was 1983 or whatever.
yeah, 1987. Yeah, it was not the full. I was not getting the full experience,
The
obviously.
experience was that everything that's happened in wrestling since that was derived from that match hadn't happened. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And listening to the two of you guys like, okay, was
And I'm
hilarious
not,
to me, by the way.
I don't disagree that, it could be a good match or a great match for a lot of people. Like it just wasn't my particular cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like
So
I
it's not funny.
necessarily
Citizen Kane wasn't a great movie. It's all a matter of what's
yeah,
come
I don't
since that wouldn't have
necessarily
happened without that thing is basically what it
right. I don't necessarily think it was too long of a match. I mean, like 15 minutes seemed fine. I
Yeah.
mean, so it wasn't that I was bored. It wasn't that I didn't like it.
Right.
I didn't think there was anything crazy in it.
Okay,
it was
fair.
just kind of a mid-match for me.
For you.
I just
Sure.
Again, had I seen the whole WrestleMania or knew a little bit more about Ricky
What happened
Steamboat
behind
or
it?
something,
What's
yeah,
around it,
exactly.
probably.
Then I might have enjoyed it a little bit.
Would you say
But
it's
I
one of
didn't
those?
not enjoy it?
Would you say it's one of those matches for the time? It kind of didn't
Yeah,
like.
that's what I said earlier. I
Yeah.
absolutely can see that.
For sure. For me, it's
The moves were good.
yeah. For me, it's
I mean, Macho Man's anyway.
okay. No, hold on. No, don't be dogging my guy Ricky
I
Steamboat.
wasn't.
Because he did some shit that you didn't see a whole lot of back then.
But
Like
see,
like
again,
that baseball slide that he did
yeah,
in between the legs of Macho Man.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
shit that you did not see because you have to understand, like, and I know you did not watch this as a kid in that era. You did not watch that.
No.
That's what I think
This
was so.
probably around the time, like I stopped watching it when I was probably around 8 years old. So
Sure.
I mean, like this would have been around the same time that I was watching, but we didn't pay. I mean, like we didn't watch big.
I feel like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was ahead of his time in WWF.
Oh, I
He
can
was
see
doing
that.
shit that like you guys like Hulk Hogan were doing leg drops and elbow drops. This dude was like doing baseball slides and shit off the
Right.
fucking
But
apron
see, again,
and on the top rope.
that wouldn't have meant anything to me seeing it now for the first time without
understand.
knowing that background. That's what I'm saying. So it's not like that's what I was saying. Like it's not like he had bad moves. It wasn't a bad match. It was just wasn't anything
What I didn't like about this
Yeah.
match, as having not watched it in a while, was I couldn't stand all the roll ups and the pinfalls. That kind of got
Thank
old.
you. Yeah.
I am one of those people, and I'm going to allude this to current modern wrestling. This matters. We're going to connect the dots here. I know we don't talk about AEW a lot on the show. I've always said because they haven't really gave me much to talk about. Well, I will say I did watch All In.
Oh my gosh.
Was a banger
It was
fucking
so
pay-per-view.
good. From like start to
Okay.
finish.
Banger
Yeah.
fucking pay-per-view.
The whole
It
show
really was.
bangers.
Like so good. Like
They-
last match, I mean, just stupid good. The fucking casino gauntlet battle royal thing was great. The men's and the women's were.
I didn't see the women's, but yeah.
But watching AEW, there's always that one thing that I'm just like, and that's what I can't stand about AEW. And what I can't stand about AEW and what I can't stand about this match is false finishes. I don't like, and AEW does all the fucking time. AEW does is false finishes, and it's like, okay, I get that there's an element of surprise there, but when you're doing this like a lot, like if you do this like 7, 8 times in the same match rather, then I'm just kind of like, all right, like, okay, like, come on. It's crying wolf. It's that crying wolf thing. You know, you do it over and over and over again. Like, yeah, nobody's gonna care really. And for me, they did that in this match too. But all in all, I don't think this is a horrible match either. I just think that sometimes some things don't age as good as you think they do. But I also think this is a match that had a purpose. Not the purpose was not the action in the ring, but the story it was trying to tell. I think that's what kind of Rocco is getting at.
I think you're wrong about that too. The action in the ring was absolutely imperative. It was just the time.
I
Raven,
think
any other matches from this pay-per-view, from this WrestleMania? Have you seen Hogan?
She's not seen any of the other matches from this pay-per-view.
Okay, you would suffer horribly watching any of those matches.
I would say don't tell her.
I mean,
We're
I don't know,
but yeah.
yeah.
Gonna,
I mean, it's so fucking boring.
For the time, yes, it was a boring pay-per-view. I'll say that.
But it was exciting as shit in 1987. I'm assuming we can use expletives on this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the context of the time. That was like the moon landing. I mean, that match was so far beyond everything else that's going on.
You're talking about that match in particular, or about the entire?
I mean, that exact match on that show, which was
in the time
show.
Yeah,
and at the time it was huge. But those two guys put on a clinic compared to everything else
at that time. Yes.
Andre,
the crowd was going crazy.
Barely anything happens.
Yeah, if you watched WrestleMania 3 from front to back, don't do it. It sucks.
I mean, now it sucks.
It does kind of suck now.
Now it sucks.
That match in particular is probably the best match on the entire card.
That would have probably put it in perspective, though.
It's not even arguable that it's the best.
No, it's not at all. It is the absolute best match of that entire paper.
It's not even a matter of opinion.
You're just wrong if you think that's not the best match on the card.
How could you not?
Like I said, it wasn't a bad match. Like I liked it. Okay, it wasn't.
Maybe Rocco. Maybe that's why maybe that's why we love that match so much. And just hear me out. Kind of do a zoom out view. Maybe that's why we love that match so much. It's because at the time, when you surround a match like that with so many bad fucking matches,
it's going to stand out.
It's going to be that better.
Yeah.
Because if you put that match,
the two greats of the time, like of that.
Oh no, you're right.
The best wrestlers going.
Oh,
there was no way that you wouldn't include Savage and Steamboat.
But I think if you put that match on a card with other better matches, I don't know how good that would be. Makes you wonder.
I mean, if you looked at that against any one of the Flair Steamboat matches,
those are pretty good. You have to watch one of those matches. Those are pretty good too. Flair and Steamboat was like an epic rivalry.
But I mean, Mach. I'm trying to think of like who else you could say Mach had like really great matches against that were about the actual wrestling. You know what I mean? Like he had some great matches with Jake, but I mean a lot of that was just down to the psychology of Jake Roberts.
Jake Roberts.
Yeah. So, this was kind of the height of Mach's work rate career. I mean,
it was.
I don't know who I would say is a better partner for him.
Ultimate Warrior. No, I'm just playing.
Certainly not. Certainly not.
All right, we're gonna move on We got two more things to talk about.
Yep.
We got our main event, but we're gonna talk. So we've reacted to that one. Raven now has two matches left,
Yep.
and then the board's cleared,
Yep. Yep.
and then we're gonna curate for you
And a whole new
a
set.
whole new board.
Yeah.
So, guys, we got this thing coming out on July 29th on Netflix. It's called WWE Unreal. I can't wait to ask you guys' opinions about this. This is a show that is coming out. It is going to be on Netflix. It is, according to what I'm reading here, it's season one of this show. It is going to be, believe it or not, it's directed by Chris Weaver, and check this out. It's executive produced by Peyton Manning. That's wild.
Oh man.
I keep forgetting that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be produced by his Omaha Productions company, NFL Films. So this is going to be kind of like a Hard Knocks. If you've ever watched Hard Knocks, we've watched Hard Knocks. Remember when they did the Colts that one?
Yeah, that's what that was. Yeah.
Skydance Sports and of course WWE. This is a 5-episode series. Each episode is 50 minutes long, and it talks about how the sausage is made at WWE. It's going to be revealing, or as Paul Triple H Levesque says, it's time to reveal pull back the curtain. We got 5 episodes. Episode 1's called New Era. Episode 2 is Push. Episode 3 is Worth the Wait. Episode 4 is Heel Turn. Wonder that's about. Episode 5 is WrestleMania. This is all going to start with the Netflix Monday Night Raw debut, and it's going to end at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. So this is all current events. This is not like we're going back a few years. This is all during, Jay Uso's Royal Rumble win, John Cena's heel turn.
Okay, so this makes me feel a little bit better about this show.
This is all current things that have transpired recently. This has been the last year. So a lot of people have some opinions, valid opinions. There's a lot of people in the wrestling business who are not thrilled about this show. There's a lot of fans that are pretty excited to kind of get a peek at what really goes on behind the scenes in the world of WWE. So before we get to our main event topic, let's talk about this, guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Josh, I want to know, man, what do you think? Josh, you're the only one of us here that has actually wrestled. What do you think about this show? How does this make you feel that they're going to be pulling this curtain back in the biggest pro wrestling company ever?
The thing is, this isn't the first time that they've done this. I was one of those kids that used to. Okay, we'll just picture this Saturday night. We've been playing GoldenEye for hours, drinking Mountain Dew, eating Doritos. I reach in my backpack and pull out a VHS copy of Beyond the Mat. All my friends are angry at me. In fact, I don't talk to a lot of my friends from elementary school because I was the first one to be like, yo, wrestling, it's not people really fighting with each other. You're supposed to think it is. It's a show. It's a show about a sport. Dude, that pissed everybody off. Yeah. And that's the thing is I don't know, I guess part of the reason why I've always been seriously into it is because I like to see the production value, because in the end, the best wrestling is the kind where it's not two guys that are pissed off at each other and fighting for your entertainment. It's two guys that are really good friends and they're just good actors. And if it's written well enough and performed well enough, hell yeah, you're brought into the moment and it's real. So it's one of those things where like half of me is like, okay, hell yeah, I would like to sit in on their creative process. But the other half of me is like, no, man, I really need some of that Disney magic in my life. I could have gone my entire life without knowing who decided, that The Undertaker lost to Brock Lesnar. Right. And the fact that I know who that is kind of like is worse than having Christmas ruined. So it's one of those things where, that's just a random example that I thought of. So it's one of those things that it's like, man, I could have lived my whole life without knowing that. So it's like on one hand, I don't think this show, I don't know, it risks the chance of alienating some people that just aren't ready to know, how exactly it goes down.
Okay.
Then they don't have to watch it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, nobody has to watch the show.
Yeah.
What I will say that the first season of this series is going to follow around WWE personnel such as Triple H, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Rhea Ripley, Josh's favorite wrestler of all time, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Bianca Belair, Chelsea Green, Charlotte Flair, and Xavier Woods.
I hope Chelsea Green's husband is in there.
I don't think he will be in there, unfortunately. um, Before I let Raven and Rocko give their thoughts, I know they got some. I'll give mine. Someone who has watched professional wrestling almost my entire life. This reminds me of like that show Magic's Greatest Secrets Revealed. Remember that?
Dude, yes.
Where the dude like wore the mask and he looked like a really bad, like generic pro wrestler in a wrestling game.
Yeah.
And which is funny because I've actually seen people make him in like WWE 2K25.
I have, yeah.
But I remember watching that, and I was a lot younger when that came out. Remember that was like a Fox show they used to do like every week, and it pissed off so many magicians back then. And even like wrestling is a form of art; it's a form of magic too, right? Like you just said, you want to keep that Disney magic, and so just like that show pissed off a lot of magicians and the Magician's Code. I don't necessarily know if there's. I would like to think that sometimes there's a wrestler code. I know there was such thing pre-90s WWE before the Click incident happened, which was when which was the farewell show for Kevin Nash and Scott Hall as they were going to WCW. They were some of them were heels at the time, and they all like gave each other a hug, and it really made Vince McMahon mad that the heels were hugging the faces in front of an audience because that was a real big no-no back then. Kayfabe was alive and well back then.
Even though it wasn't televised. And
it wasn't televised, yeah. Some fan caught it with the camera.
Really a factor, I don't think. At that point.
Right. This is interesting. I am one of those people that I love behind the scenes shit.
Me too.
Right?
Me too.
I love that kind of stuff. I love it in movies.
I personally would enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it in movies. And we know that movies are scripted, and those guys are actors, right? Which is a very similar thing here, except all these guys do their own stunts. In pro wrestling, anyway. I can't lie and say I'm not curious. I'm gonna watch this because I'm very curious to see what exactly they're going to show, right? I did see a few clips today where they were showing things in a production meeting. They had a lot of things on a dry erase board blurred out because, of course, they're not going to like spoil shit, right? Like they're not going to do the show and then spoil like SummerSlam in it, right?
Yeah.
So they had some stuff blurred out. Just kind of makes you wonder like what they talk about at a production meeting. How does putting a match together, work? Because if you don't know, every match on a card in at least in WWE, if you were to do, if you go to IMDb, you can look up some episodes of Raw and SmackDown, and it'll show you what segments were produced by who. Everything that happens on a Monday Night Raw, at a PLE, and a SmackDown, and at NXT is on a card, and it's produced by someone. Every segment has a producer. Everything does. Matches do, even have a producer. And which is crazy, which a lot of people think that's insane, but no, think about it. It's just like
I always want to know like who produced a match after it,
Yeah, and so
whose finish was that?
Right,
it's
like
Pat Patterson thing.
Much like a movie where, movies have several producers. So does a WWE show. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times when we go to
a producer in a different sense,
it's a much different sense. Yeah,
it's somebody that's doing them. They're looking at the match and they're like, okay, so now the finish is always where they start and then work back from there.
Right. Well, it depends. Maybe that's not how that works. And that's what I'm curious to find out here. Is who are we going to see that's a producer here, right? Because I know there's a lot of guys that are in the business now that. We're like, I know Hurricane Helms is a producer. Gregory Shane Helms. He's a producer. Rick Rude is a producer.
Yeah.
Guys like that. And I know that I've seen Rick Rude in a shot on a still in one of these.
There was a match recently. There was a women's match, and I don't remember which it was, but I was very impressed with the finish. And we had to look it up. Me and the pay-per-view guys that I do that stuff with, look up and see who the producer was, and I was kind of surprised to find out it was him. I thought it was Bobby Roode, I believe. It was actually Bobby Roode who was the producer.
Yeah. So here I'm just curious, like, what are they going to show? I know that, like, in one of the trailers, Triple H tells Jey Uso, "We're going to put a rocket on you." So I'm curious how those discussions go. I hope we get to see some like arguments, right? Because like every good thing, people kind of don't, clash, right?
Yeah, you know that
conflict. And so I kind of hope. But here's what I want to know: just like every show, this is technically a reality show, right? We can say that, right? This is a reality show you're talking about.
I mean, I hope not.
Say it's more of a documentary.
I hope we don't. I hope they don't try to tell a story within a story.
Yeah, if it starts to feel like a reality show, I'm just not going to watch it.
I'm not going to be happy with it, right? So, but I hope we get some raw footage of like a good production. Maybe they'll show a lot of a production meeting. What I do expect to see is, and they've shown stills, and I'm even looking at stills here. Like they asked, what was it? CM Punk was on. Who was it? He was on. I think he was on Ariel Helwani's show recently, or somebody. A sports talking head. Maybe it was Pat McAfee. They asked him what did he think about it, and he said he never knew what they were recording back there, when they were recording, who they were recording. And he said there was a scene of him like eating food, and he had a camera. And he's like, "Really, this is what you're going to record? Is me eating my food?" Like, so he seemed kind of meh about it because he's always been big on like protecting the business.
Who was that?
CM Punk.
Oh yeah.
He's always been big on keeping the business protected, and he is just like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I tell you this right now. This 10 years ago, Vince McMahon would be like, no fucking way he's doing that. Vince McMahon would never do this shit. like Vince McMahon, I would love to know what Vince McMahon thinks about this.
Yeah, no, there's no way. I mean, he was
no fucking way.
And I mean,
he's the one that killed
very much sanctioned by WWE anyway, or TKO, I guess.
Yeah.
So there is that element. But I mean, it's still, if it's going to be as interesting as the thing that they did for WrestleMania 40, I think it'll be pretty compelling.
I think it's going to be even more interesting than that.
Yeah, being an ongoing show, if they can kind of find a rhythm with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand not wanting to have this sort of stuff out there, but at the same time, I don't think that there's outside of just absolute casual fans, families of five that wear Cena gear to WrestleMania shows that he's not on. Like just really total casual fans, which might make up the bulk of people who watch.
I wonder,
like most people who are actual wrestling fans, they're very engaged in this kind of stuff, And the
I
thing
wonder how
me that I find interesting is that in the 90s, or I guess 2002 or whenever WCW finally imploded and collapsed, they were really trying to play into the internet audience. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Like that was a huge thing. And it was such a small segment of the population and people watching that were on like some AOL chat group or message board that it didn't read. It didn't make any sense.
I wonder if they're gonna protect like the whole stuff going on with CM Punk and Seth.
Oh, absolutely. I thought of that too.
Can't be showing anything that's currently going on. There is no way.
Well, this is.
It's going to be months ago.
They were getting into it back then, so that would be relevant in this.
Yeah. So I think.
Yeah. What do you think about this, Raven? As someone who hasn't watched wrestling that long,
it kind of has the feel, and I could be totally wrong.
Oh, okay.
It kind of has that feel of like you had mentioned a reality show. Kind of like that. However, more kind of like a cross between, I guess, a reality show and a documentary. But you got to think though, too, reality shows are all still completely like scripted and edited and heavily like, okay, they pick certain people for certain things and they tell them ahead of time, this is how you're going to portray it, whatever.
Right.
So on that note, I still feel like it's they're not going to reveal anything major.
No, I
They're
don't think
not
they
going to
will.
reveal any. They're going to drop a couple big things that's going to keep, make people like, oh my God, and make it feel like it was worth their time watching it and make it feel like, WWE revealed something like huge, but it's not going to be huge. It's
Right.
not going to be,
Hmm.
it's going to be something that they're reeling people in. So they have to give them something to think, oh my gosh, they really are unveiling, these big secrets or whatever. It's that they're not. WWE, they're not that stupid.
No, I'm not.
They're not gonna reveal anything major.
No, I don't think they're going to reveal anything major.
And I
I
don't
just don't
necessarily mean
want.
in plot lines. I just mean in general, like for the business. They're not going to reveal anything major.
Do you guys think this is going
Okay.
to ruin anything for anybody?
I
No.
think if it quote unquote ruins anything for somebody, it's all in their head. It's what their perspective,
Okay.
expectations, and standards are. It's
Okay.
going to
Yeah.
be on the person basically up for interpretation on what quote unquote ruins it. Just like how you
Yeah.
had said to me beforehand, oh, you're in for a real treat. That kind of set my expectation, but that was in my head.
Fair
Like,
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, you said that,
Fair.
but it was my interpretation of it. Does that make sense? That's why I
Sure.
said, take this with a grain of salt, because I just feel like people are going to take away from this what they want to take away from it, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Um, Rocco, what do you think about this show?
No, and thinking about that, it's just I'm trying to remember. Like, I really enjoyed the one about the WrestleMania 40 when it finally happened, when it finally
Hmm.
came out. But I don't remember there being any great things that we were learned from them. Like, it's
Exactly.
just sort of like these little morsels of information that
Hmm.
feel really exciting to learn and just see backstage stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, you think about like, pictures of Boris Karloff in the Frankenstein makeup in a robe, drinking a cup of coffee and smoking a cigarette. Like
Right.
stuff like that. It's just really fun to kind of
Pulling
be
the curtain away. Yeah.
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 and
And
sort of like a lot of it is just like, CM Punk seemed like he really was mad right there,
yeah,
didn't he? Didn't he seem mad?
exactly.
But
And
I don't. If there was anything here that was really salacious, I don't know that we find it.
yeah,
But
I think the
I
biggest
tell you what though,
thing,
the 41, the one about 40, the thing that was always compelling to me was how much of what happened with Rock
that's
was
exactly what I was going to
Rock's
talk about.
idea, and
Yep.
how much of that was Triple
Oh,
H's.
I'm so
Yeah,
Hmm.
glad you brought
there
that
you go.
up.
Yep.
That was exactly
That
what
is
I was going to talk
exactly what I was going to talk about
And I
when
still
you
don't feel
mentioned that.
like I know the answer to that question, but I did enjoy
Exactly.
watching. So
So see, that's what I'm
the
saying. They have a
supplemental
way,
information.
they have a way of wording things and putting things together without actually revealing too much. So like we did get quote unquote answers. They did tell us things, they did show us things, but we're still guessing. We're still wondering. It's just like when people take time off and, are they legitimately hurt? Or was it a work? Or was it a little bit of both? You know what I mean? Like we never, there are going to be some that we just are never going to get solid answers for.
I mean, we can't figure out still if Montreal Screwjob was a work or not. I mean,
I just
Wow.
think that that
these
was the
things
work.
get talked about forever. So
I
I
think it was the
mean,
work.
like the main event of this show, it will be the last episode in which we see, why was Rock not at WrestleMania? Like empirically, why was he not at WrestleMania? Because we're always going to want to know the answer to that question,
Yeah.
and that question might not even really like have an answer. you know
But do you
so
think that do you think they care about answering that though?
right, like
No.
TKO and WWE.
Like WWE? You think they care? You think
I
they're
think they care if it's going to protect The Rock or make The Rock look some kind of way or another. I mean, sure. They don't.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
sure that
Triple
Rock,
H, I mean
having whatever
Triple H is
position he has at TKO now, I guess he probably doesn't want to look bad,
well,
but
Triple H said he doesn't really care about the opinions of podcasters or people on social media.
yeah, of
Oh, well,
course he's going to say that. I mean, what's he
He
going to do?
says that, but they do care. I mean, come on, they have to care.
I mean, is he going to like weep tears and be like, oh no? I mean, they're always going to treat you like a bunch of marks who
yeah.
don't know.
Hey,
Well, I
And
here's
mean,
the
they
thing.
have. I
they're
mean, they
telling the
have
story. You're
podcasters
supposed to just sit
come
through it.
out. They have podcasters come out and do media.
Yeah, but
So
what is it really?
that's more
I mean,
for
that's
them.
an olive branch at best.
That's more for them
Right.
to promote get more promotion, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean they have angles they work that way too. I mean they know who they're going to call on. I
So
mean
what do you think their angle is with this show?
Yeah.
I think that
Their
it's a
angle.
way that they can try to make it seem like on their end that wrestling has a little bit more legitimacy and anything, and I'm not against this, anything that they can do
Okay.
to help people comprehend that we know we're in on it. We know it's staged.
Mm-hmm.
Show. It's a
Yeah.
unique form of show business
Yeah.
and an art form.
Yeah.
And this will ultimately help them to be more successful in those endeavors. And I'm always for that.
I
I don't really have
absolutely
an
agree
issue.
with that. I absolutely agree with that assessment. I think this is a very strategic and smart business move that they're wanting to show the business aspect of it and that like, hey, it might be scripted, but it is so much more than that. Like there is a lot of shit that goes into making this happen. I think it's
Right.
good. I think it's good.
I don't
I'm
know.
looking forward to
And I
this.
mean, I'm beyond the whole thing with Dark Side of the Ring. Like, I think I'll probably be okay. I'm over that. Like, I don't think
I
I
love
need.
that show.
Well, I do too, but I watched enough of them now that it's like, God damn it, man. I'm trying to
Oh,
just enjoy
see,
some
I've only
element
seen
of
a
this.
couple of them, and I was just telling Brian earlier
Dark,
tonight that
depressing,
I want
and
to
it will
watch more
fuck
of
up your
those.
ability to enjoy professional wrestling.
Yeah. I will say this, and these are my final thoughts on this show, and we'll talk about this
Mhm.
show after we've watched it. We'll talk
Right.
about it here and kind of give it a little assessment of it. I think this is a good thing. Um, I think that there are a lot of people out there who, well, I think for one, if you have people that are bullies and they say the F word about wrestling to people, I don't think this is going to change their mind.
No.
No,
They're just shitty people. They
A
don't really
friend of
give a
mine
shit.
in
for the
college
Um,
found him one time walking around crying because people were telling him the wrestling was fake because he was wearing a
right.
DX shirt one time, man.
I don't think
College.
WWE. I don't think WWE needs to prove that wrestling is fake.
no,
I
this
think
is
that
gonna help
they
out a
need
lot of
to
casual fans.
prove that wrestling is a piece of entertainment that you
Mhm.
can consume and it's acceptable to consume it. And this is for the person who maybe might not be okay or think it's weird to like pro wrestling. And then they can say, all right, this is just like watching a TV show or a movie or
Yeah.
playing any other scripted scripted based form of entertainment that requires a producer and a team of writers and all that. And I think hold on, and I think that this is going to help make WWE and pro wrestling more mainstream than it is already. Um, what I'm also going to throw in, and what I've always wanted, and I think maybe Raven, you might remember this. I did a TikTok video about this about a few years ago. I have always wanted to hear from the people who like uh, the guys who like the ring crew, the people who put the lights up, the
Yeah,
people who the hairdressers, the
Dude.
costume designers, the people. I don't really care. Honestly, I'll tell you this. I don't really care that much to hear about from the wrestlers because we hear so much from them already, right?
unless they do their own shit like Bianca,
Right.
like
But I
it's all
Right.
want to
their
see
outfits.
the like how do they put together the set for a PLE?
Yeah,
Oh,
What's the
dude.
right?
All
All
I
that,
know
you
is
know,
that
that
you,
shit.
you know how like in Men in Black when
Uh-huh.
they're
Yeah.
recruiting Will Smith and they're like it's the best, the best, the best, sir. That
Yeah.
is how WWE's road crew is they literally like shadow recruit the best of the best, the best, and they go and grab people
hmm
because you have to be on your A game. Anytime you see like a big fuck up on TV, I want you to know somebody got fired that night. Anytime like the TV cuts to something black, you bet your ass somebody's getting replaced
Yeah. I
because
want to see those moments. I want to see in this
yeah,
show. I want to see
I didn't think.
the most authentic. I know it's called WWE Unreal. I want to see those authentic, like, I want to see those moments where they had to pivot on the fly. That kind
mhm,
of
Yes, yes, I'd
like
love
where
to
they're
see
like,
it.
all right, we got a guy hurt or something. Because didn't like I know somebody in this era was injured, right? At one point, I think somebody got injured out there throughout the from we'll say January to WrestleMania. I want to see if they go to that Raw moment where they're just like, well, this person's hurt, so what do we do? And I want to know how they do that. What's the whole change in the game thing for them? What's that meeting
Okay,
like?
yeah.
Right? Those are the moments I want to see. Yeah, I'm still curious about how they produce and put a match together, what that looks like a little bit. Which I don't think they're going to give too much of that away. Because they do have competition that will be watching this too, I'm sure. But like outside of that, I want to see like,
I
you
just started thinking
know,
about that Bischoff Hogan
how do they
joint that's going
design
on.
the logos for the shows? How do they what goes into booking specific cities at a specific schedule?
They might
What
touch on that stuff a little
what
bit, but I
is
don't think they're going to go into great detail
I
on all that
want that.
stuff.
That's what I want that. I want that though.
I
Like
could be wrong, but I don't think they're going to go into great
but
I
it
detail.
would be
looks like they
surprised that there's a lot of that on the show.
right.
Yeah,
I
I
think
do
it's
too.
going to be
But
recognized.
this is probably
And I
gonna
think the show
be
is aimed at people like us. I don't think that normies are.
Yeah.
Interested.
I'm excited for this. I'm very curious for this. I'm
Oh, I am
curious
too. Yeah.
how this is going to what the other side of this is going to look like once it's out.
Yeah.
What's it going to look from the other side, right? Because right now we're sitting here talking and having the show. We have no idea what's in the show, right?
Right.
Except the fact that it's Rhea, they showed Punk, they've showed Cody and Jay and a few other
They've
people.
shown Chelsea.
Outside of that, I'm very curious to see how John Cena feels about turning heel because they're going to talk about that
Yeah,
here.
that's
Oh,
interesting.
good.
You know,
How that's gonna what's that like emotionally for him
what's one thing
to
about it
do
that
that?
occurs to me as you say that though is that it's nice to sometimes see these things with a bit of time. I mean, if and I think he's
Yeah,
already done interviews. He's already done shoot interviews
Yeah.
about turning heel,
yeah,
and I kind of wish he'd done a taker and given that at least a year
yeah.
and not have it be in progress.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I get it.
Because
All
it's
right.
like I'm still
Yeah, I
trying to have
agree.
some sense of suspension of
Yeah.
disbelief.
But guys, this
I agree.
this show is officially going to launch on Netflix. It's season one, 5 episodes, 50 minutes each on July 29th. We'll be watching it. Let's get to our main event discussion.
Ding, ding,
And I
ding.
know we're approaching like an hour, so that's okay. Um, we always go over on time on here. Rocco and I had the pleasure of a couple times this month, last past month. Raven went to one event.
Hey.
Raven went to one event.
Yeah.
But most recently, this past
So bummed I didn't
this
go.
past Monday, Rocco and I got to go see some wrestling, and more
Right.
specifically OVW wrestling
Some of the best kind.
at the best burger franchise around called White Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Which what a thing that was, man.
It really was, and
What an event.
I wish it was better attended, but I also like that it wasn't very well
Yes, me
attended
too. Yeah.
because it just sort of adds to the weirdness of it in
Yeah.
a way,
Mm-hmm.
and it also meant that everybody got anybody who wanted a mug and a free chicken sandwich and a hat
Got one.
have all three of those things.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I
wow.
mean?
Yeah.
There's plenty
So
to
the
go
whole
around.
yeah,
The mug is actually a lot larger than I thought it was going to be.
It's huge. Yeah,
so
I
this
think it could be
event
a hat or something.
this event was an OVW event that was hosted by White Castle in downtown Louisville on East Market Street. And you know, this topic of discussion for our main event, we're going to be talking about places we would like to see pro wrestling happen that doesn't happen, or places that we may have already seen pro wrestling happen that
Before
just
you
don't.
get too far down that road, I also want to talk a little
Yes.
bit about the event at the Speed Museum
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that too.
because, well, I'll let you go on.
What, the Speed Museum? Oh, I'm definitely talking about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Because that's an interesting counterpoint too.
I'm also curious to hear if our resident wrestler has wrestled anywhere.
Right.
Super interesting.
Yeah. So we went to White Castle. They had promoted this event about a week or so before, and I showed it to the group, and I was like, I'm so there. It was on a Monday, from 5 to 7 p.m. It lit quite literally in the parking lot of a White Castle. Like, not even kidding. We got tons of you can actually go to our Instagram at a bunch of marks, and there's lots of photos If you also go to our Facebook page, there's tons of photos there of this event. The main event was the original tribal cheese, the cheeseburger slider versus a chicken. And I'm gonna tell you something. This event, I don't think it gets any more American than that. Going and eating a hot, fresh cheese slider while watching some pro wrestling in the parking lot of a White Castle.
That's America.
That is. It doesn't get more American than that.
At a baseball field eating apple pie.
No. Fuck apple pie. This is my apple
Yeah,
pie.
the Japanese love baseball more than Americans do anyway. We're talking
Right.
wrestling
Yeah,
at a White
no
Castle.
kidding.
I'm just saying that's supposed to be like pastime.
No,
we know.
That was a good rebuttal.
But this was great. They were doing this to promote the brand new chicken slider, which I thought was pretty good. But Rocco and I, we go to White Castle for the slider. We're there. We're just kind of like,
when I go to a place, I get the thing that they do there. You know what I mean?
Don't make it just you get the thing you're gonna like, right?
I would need to hear that chicken sandwich is like one of the best chicken sandwiches available to man.
It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it was like the greatest chicken, like a top 10. I thought it was pretty good. They had some pretty good matches. Got a battle royal, which was for a Crave case, which was for the money in the Crave in the bank.
Cal Hero, who won that, he sold that thing like he was winning Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that was a fun match. We had a women's match with Danielle Larkin, Lovely Miss Larkin with Noelle, and they took on Freya. And who was the other woman that was with Freya? Rocco, remember?
Rose.
Rose, yeah. It's a heck of a match. Freya the Slayer is current women's champion OVW. That was a lot of fun.
She hooked this thing up, by the way. It was Freya's project.
Yeah, I did not know that. All right,
that's awesome.
All right, well there you go.
Freya and my friend Mike Tomes worked together to promote.
We had Super Z was there. Just tons of other great OVW talent. A lot of them, playing into the fact it was at a White Castle, so of course a lot of them were kind of like dressed up like they worked there. Had some of the visors on, the hats on.
Tell you, only Larkin can come out and look just so freaking adorable in that damn White Castle like visor. Like she looked like she should have had a little like drive-through headset on, just like taking orders. She's so freaking cute.
Yeah, they took some pictures of themselves looking like they were working inside there too, which is pretty funny out there.
Well, there was a video where like they were all making sandwiches for Al.
Oh,
eat
my
sandwich, Al. You gotta eat my sandwich.
That's awesome. I haven't seen that.
This was a badass event, and I agree with Rocco. The whole time we were there, we were just kind of in awe of the whole thing, right? Like we were just talking about how we want this. Like, okay, next week we're going to Subway, right? Like we're doing the Subway next week.
That's funny.
After that, we're gonna book the Burger King.
Well, Subway's got the thing with Happy Gilmore right now, so maybe not.
Oh, true.
But Becky's in that movie though, right?
Right, yeah, but the thing about this is that's kind of what sparked that's what inspired this whole episode tonight was to talk about this was that. Yeah. Now I love shit like that, by the way. We also did, now Rocco was there, but also Raven was there. There's a place in Louisville called the Speed Art Museum. Lovely place, by the way. Definitely recommend everybody go check that out.
Yeah, we've been there
super
times,
cool place. Yeah. They had a wrestling event there that was hosted by OVW. Al Snow was there, a gentleman from MIT whose name totally escapes me right now.
The actual host of the event are called Kentucky to the World.
Yeah, Kentucky to the World.
That's what they do is programming and things like talks and stuff like that are based around Kentucky-oriented things. Which for the people that run that thing, that means like bourbon distilleries, probably more than anything else. Clothing boutiques, things sort of that nature, nonprofits, and wrestling. I'm sure that it was just because ultimately I imagine they probably heard about it because of the Netflix documentary. And when we walked in, one of the immediate feeling that I had was I don't know how this will come across. I don't want to sound like some sort of a braggart with this, but I feel equally comfortable and happy at the Speed Art Museum as I do at Davis Arena. Like they kind of
Oh
occupy
yeah,
the same kind of place in my heart in a weird way.
yeah.
So go
No,
see
not at all.
wrestling at speed. Like I was already like, wow, this is really something. And I could see that
Mhm.
there were a lot of speed people there, and there were a few sort of regular OVW fans there too. And it was like, wow, like I get to be both of these things today. Like this gets to be
Neat.
in a weird, this takes an odd space in my heart. And when we walked in,
Yeah.
I immediately saw a dude who is, I guess, a part of Kentucky from the World, who I've known for years. And I don't know. I guess you could say we have sort of a strained relationship. I don't want to get too far into it.
Oh
But
yeah, I remember this guy.
last time I'd interacted with this guy, he had shit on wrestling
Yeah.
in a comment for no reason, like a
Oh
picture or
boy.
video of me at Davis marking
Yeah.
out and having a good time. And he commented and said, I don't understand why anyone sees any value in wrestling or
Mm.
any benefit of being interested in it. And then
Wow.
this same dude is
Well,
smiling and
damn,
shaking his
okay.
hand at the Speed Art Museum for an OVW wrestling event. Right?
Yeah, how
Isn't
does
that
that shit
great?
It
taste, buddy?
was delicious for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, he told me
I
that
love
story
it.
about that guy, and I'm just like, I know you, I know you're, I know you gotta, I know you're eating good.
Oh, I loved it. And
Yeah.
my petty ass went and found the comment from 2 years ago, Christmas
Oh
Eve
my
2 years
gosh.
ago. And I didn't comment on it at the time, except for to say, like, Merry Christmas. But I commented again and I said, how about now?
Oh,
Right.
love that
Nice.
shit.
And his
Yeah,
comment back was
Yeah.
something,
that, but that was
oh,
good.
it's just so magical or whatever,
Great.
whatever.
Yeah, walking into that was surreal. So we got in. We were allowed to come out, and thanks to Kentucky to the World, they set that up for us to come out.
I mean,
Yes,
yeah, awesome.
that's
I don't
awesome.
want to sound disingenuous about that. It was cool to
No,
be
not at
there.
all. We
That was
we
kind of a
but
risky thing to do, and they really they went out of their
absolutely. But yeah, thanks to Kentucky to the World for having us come out, for having Raven and I come out to as a bunch of marks to cover that event. When I found out about that, I was just like, that is so weird, but
That is
like
one of the coolest wrestling
makes
things
sense.
I've been to.
Same. And I've
Yeah.
been through a ton of
Yeah,
shit. And I mean,
Yeah.
I've been to a
also
ton of places to
wrestling
watch
and
wrestling.
street
Yeah.
art museum. I
Well,
mean,
I don't just mean to watch wrestling. I just mean like that was one of the coolest wrestling events or,
Things to do with wrestling you've
yeah,
been to.
about
yeah,
wrestling that I've seen.
totally.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so
Well,
the
part
event
of
of
the impetus for me was that like if we hadn't been chanting and yelling and because the first thing that happened was the little guy in a sport coat came out and said, silence your phones, be quiet and respectful.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
And it wasn't a work. I mean, that's what he expected us to do
Yeah.
because he didn't know
Yeah.
what he was in,
Yeah.
and we didn't like yell at Al too much. I think when we were
No,
appropriate.
he said they also told us not to cheer.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna
Does he
Yeah.
know what
Once the
wrestling is?
matches started, it felt
Bye,
like it was
sir.
our responsibility as wrestling aficionados
Yeah,
Yes.
in
yeah.
that
Yeah.
place to
I think
do
I
what
kind
our
of looked
job
over.
is,
I think I kind
which
of
is
looked
help
over
the
at you.
wrestlers be more successful by making noise.
Yeah, I think I looked over at Rocko and I'm like, that's not gonna happen.
Well,
Yeah.
Like, that's
No,
not
I
gonna
brought
happen.
a sign, dog. I brought a sign, which I
Yeah.
hit
I
you over
mean,
the head with at one point.
I think it helped too that during the presentation, Al was talking about how, the interaction with the crowd and, everything does kind of like help get things pumped and get things going and everything. So
It was
I
oh,
think,
for
wonderful. I mean,
sure.
It's a
and it
big,
felt like we
big
were
part of
like a
wrestling.
couple of Philistines. For a
Mm.
lot of the people that were there, who were not wrestling people. I think that's important too. Like
oh,
everybody who was at
that
the
was the
White
coolest
Castle thing
part.
were wrestling people, but the
Yeah.
people that showed up at that thing were there to see a talk, and then like
That was the coolest part for me because they were there as part of either the Speed
agreed.
Museum
Yeah,
or the Kentucky for the World.
yeah,
So
most
they
people
didn't
there.
have any idea of what to expect. And like you
Oh yeah.
saw like these buttoned up, dressed up, like very professional, people in like suits and and everything like just kind of like they were in awe. I mean, like
Yeah,
you could literally see it on their faces, like they had absolutely no idea that
What
so
to
much
expect?
went into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
And it
some
was
of them got into it. A lot of them didn't
Yeah.
seem to quite
yeah.
know what to do with
I
themselves.
but Al Snow hosted the event with Sam Ford from MIT. That's the guy. They
Yeah,
actually went in the middle of the ring. Al talked about the history of professional wrestling. Sam Ford has actually taught a class about professional wrestling at MIT. That's why he was there. Got a lot of really awesome knowledge. They really did a great job of dropping a lot of knowledge because, of course, like Rocko and Raven just said that it was really weird. It was kind of like going to your favorite thing with people that like you would expect, and I'm not saying that none of these people do that. It's almost like going with an event like that to something you're going to have fun at, but then there's like a lot of snobby types that you think won't have fun there. Not that they were. I'm not saying those people were that people, but it kind of was like, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't know if I mean, I know I fit in here, but it's kind of weird because there's people here that that I don't think I would ever normally expect to go to a show.
Oh
But
yeah,
because
I
it
mean,
was,
one of the guys who ran it went on my Facebook and
yeah, yeah,
perfectly comfortable
yeah.
just saying like, this is something morons like,
It was
basically.
almost like a pro wrestling gala at a speed art at the art museum, and they had a wrestling show. They did have a few matches, and that was fun. And so we'll talk now. We'll kind of get to our main discussion. Is I want to see more of this stuff.
Right.
Like I would love. I was telling Rocco at when we were at White Castle watching wrestling. What we were watching WCW White Castle Wrestling. That I want a tour. Like I want a not so wrestling pro wrestling tour where like they just book the most wild places. Like
Across
we were talking
America,
about what was that?
just all across America.
I mean, well, maybe not. Maybe start kind of like in a region, like maybe Midwest South, like where they're at, and then if it gets popular enough,
territories.
if it's, I'm not trying to remember territory. Shut up. But I'm just saying, like, start small, and then maybe if it goes well the next year, expand it out. And of course, they would have to be, for the most part, free shows unless you're in a bigger, not so wrestling place. Then you can have those be your big, like, pay-per-view things, right? Where you do charge for people to come.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to charge anybody to go to White Castle and watch pro wrestling. No one's going to do that. Although I think for my money, I would have paid to go to that show Monday. I would have. I mean, fuck it, $5.
I mean, I would have.
Hell yeah,
paid a couple bucks,
I'd
whatever.
have easily paid.
Yeah.
But that's what I want. I want to see, because I'm one of those guys where I like to see, like, okay, here's a good comparison. I don't watch a lot of NHL, but when they do those fucking things, we're on an actual like frozen lake. Shit's cool as fuck, right? That's like, all right, that's kind of sick, that they do that. And that's kind of like what this was. It's kind of like, and I mean, pro wrestling at its core has always meant to be silly in a way, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's characters for Christ's sake, right? We get, you get all these 80s and 90s where we're nothing but characters. Mm-hmm. Wrestling in and of itself is a character, and so for me, I want to see more of this stuff. I was telling like Jay De Niro and I talked for a little while after the show, and I was like, "This is cool," and he was like, "This is so wild." And like, I know Tony Gunn thought this was like, "This is absolutely insane. Like, this is ridiculous." And I'm just like, "But but wrestling is ridiculous."
Yeah,
like pro
wrestling.
I
would imagine that some of those guys were like, "Oh, Jesus, what are we doing?"
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And
but to me, it's great, and to you, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I feel like I think what I'm getting at ultimately is that you feel like you, as someone who's invested in this, get to be in a position in which you're kind of an ambassador in a way.
Yes,
by being there.
I get exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
For people that whatever they think a wrestling fan is like, if you're there too at whatever the place is, this unlikely location, and you are sort of giving them the ability to kind of cut loose and also be in it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like when people are like laughing at stuff we're saying, and they're and they were wise to start. You might remember this at the Speed with the women's match, you know, because that's something that is empowering, I'm sure, for a lot of the women that were there to witness. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah. Pro wrestling,
whether or not you're into it or not, it's impressive.
I mean, pro wrestling in and of itself is a mix of everything. and the business itself has come a very long way. And I think if we had another, I think some people will be like, well, why would you want them to go to like used car lots and malls? That's like, isn't that what they're trying to get away from? No.
That back.
Why the fuck would you want to get away from the very thing that made the business what
Yeah.
it
Well,
was?
and OVW does do a lot of
Like,
that. They go into
and
central
they do.
Kentucky and go to weird
Oh
places.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
when
mean,
this will air, but this coming Saturday, they're going to be at the Dainty fundraiser at Hawks, and
oh, that's cool.
you
Pretty
know,
cool.
so like another thing where it's like people can just kind of come upon some wrestling.
What I'm trying to get at is I don't want any wrestlers to think that they're too good to do a show in a White Castle parking lot. Because the thing is like pro wrestling has came a very long way from its roots, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it
or
started,
that's not awesome,
what's that?
or that's not awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it might be silly to them because wrestlers have egos, right? They all have a ego at some point in some way, big or small.
Yeah.
But I think to do this kind of a show kind of gives you your own self-awareness of like, yeah, I mean, it's okay to dress up like White Castle employees and get goofy. It's pro wrestling. Pro wrestling can be serious. Pro wrestling can have heartbreak. Pro wrestling can have comedy. Pro wrestling is in of itself a genre that has a lot of sort of movie-esque genres within it: drama, action, comedy, romance, horror, right? Everything is in pro
Everything, yeah.
wrestling, right? So
Can certainly be absorbed
Storytelling at its
into it,
best.
yeah, and you can't take pro wrestling too seriously.
No.
Otherwise you're kind of missing the whole point.
Yeah,
So,
that's kind of one of the things about it is that I always say that it's the purest form of entertainment. I mean, it's like
it is. It's all encompassing. Like there's something for everyone there, right?
right, and you're likely going to leave having had a laugh. It's going to be
Or yeah, you're gonna either laugh, you might cry,
Yeah.
you might uh become attached to a wrestler as a fan. Let's put it that way. You might find yourself. I look at wrestling like it's kind of like having a good alcoholic beverage. There's some that aren't that good to you, but there are some that will be good to you that you might enjoy. And even if you don't drink, maybe it's, I don't know, whatever. Could be food. We'll do food, right? Everybody likes to eat. So that might be,
I
some people
love
like
eating food.
sushi. Some people like sushi. Some people fucking hate sushi. But you know what? That's okay because
Sushi's the best. It's not okay.
I'll eat all the sushi. You can have all the other shit that I don't like. But at least there's something for you
yeah, it's sort of the
and
last
for me.
remaining vestige of the old variety show.
Yeah. Where would you guys like to see pro wrestling happen that would not be considered a typical place for pro wrestling to happen?
This is an honest answer. I have fucking always wanted to see pro wrestling at a library.
At a library? Oh my God,
Like
you just got Raven's eyes wide.
Like at the parking lot of the library or something, not even specifically inside the library. Just how wild would that be?
That'd be insane.
Because like generally libraries are a quiet place. You got to be quiet. You cannot have quiet with wrestling.
So libraries used to be quiet places. I unfortunately the past few years, like 9 years, have yet to find a quiet library.
Yeah, that's very true.
However,
a lot of kids playing video games loudly has been my experience.
oh, not even just kids. It's like employees and everything. They'll just be talking about anything and everything at like no limit to volume. But yes, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
To have it at the library.
They could do a read and wrestling show where it's like,
yes,
sign up for a reading program and you get to, I don't know.
Mick Foley writes books.
Yeah, that's true.
He's an author.
They could have wrestlers like read stories to kids.
There were no
actually a surprising amount of wrestlers that are
but
authors.
a friend of mine who works for the library, the Louisville Library, did set up something with the Derby City wrestling guys.
They did a backpacks thing, right, with kids and stuff.
Okay,
remember
that.
Yeah,
like a charity thing. That's great. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I love charity shows. Those are always good too. Sometimes
I
think a cool place, and I think I talked to Rocko about this when we were at WCW. Was I would love to see pro wrestling at like a children's hospital.
Okay.
And
again, they got close to that. They were at the Ronald McDonald House.
Doing
A cookout.
And you know what? You know what? Fuck it. Do it inside the hospital. Right?
Fuck it.
Like, find a place.
I
Yeah,
don't think
auditorium.
they will be
Yeah.
able to do it inside a hospital.
You I don't think you understand the scape of pro wrestling and what and
Man.
and
So
if there's a challenge, by God, pro wrestling will make that happen, right?
I'm gonna be honest.
If I could chant my tribal cheese at a wrestling show, anything is possible in
Yeah.
the realm of pro wrestling.
It's true. Well, so you guys were talking about this episode earlier today, and I was at work having a real fucking hard day, which is why I wasn't answering. But I've got my watch, so I was kind of passively seeing your conversation go back and forth, and you were talking about all sorts of stuff, and just the dark humor in me wanted to text back "burn ward" and then go back to work and not say a single thing again, and I almost did it too.
It text what?
The just the words "the burn ward."
What is that?
Where all the burn victims go? Like it's a burn unit in the hospital, Brian.
Oh, I see.
It's super unfunny.
Oh man, it's terrible. Terrible. No, I think they should do a show like at the hospital, like at Children's Hospital or something. Like that'd be kind of cool. Like, and do
No, that's awesome. I think that would be great.
do some sort of charity event. Let all the kids let them have ringside seats and even get the kids in on it. Like I don't know, they could do something really fun, like where they take one of the crutches from a kid and they use those in a match and whatever. I don't know. This like. Yeah, I'm not even kidding, bro. I'm dead ass. Like that'd be funny.
Like a bent crotch that then is signed by whoever, and they buy them a new one, so then they can.
And then they could do what they could do before the match is they could have a little station set up where you make a sign, and they could have the wrestlers make signs with you.
Yeah,
like make a sign with you. Like have the wrestlers make.
That would be a level of interactivity that I don't know that
because you got to do it. You got to make it interactive for the kids, man. I mean, but that could be fun. I mean, just shit like that would be kind of cool, And then they could have like
OVW were the ones to do it. Like I almost feel like you should talk to them about this. I think
I think it'd be a fantastic idea if they go to Norton Children's Hospital there in Louisville and do a show.
Because they already kind of do these things.
But
I think Al especially is a believer in this kind of stuff, judging by
yeah. Rocko, what's a place you want to go see pro wrestling be at that isn't typically a place that pro wrestling happens at?
Well, the thing that I feel like as we talk through it is sort of my favorite component of this is just the idea that people are there witnessing it and are becoming a part of it by proxy who otherwise would never. So anything that can kind of involve that element, maybe a tour of museums or galas and balls, at the hotels downtown for that sort of thing. It's that I don't know. I'm just always fascinated by the idea that there's people who feel like they're way too smart for wrestling, and they're usually the first to fall for it. Like everything happened with Kaufman and Jerry Lawler on Letterman.
Yeah.
And there were still people that believed. I mean, famously or infamously, Jim Carrey. When Lawler showed up to the set of Man on the Moon, Carrey just was like fucking with him. And Lawler was like, I knew him better than most people. I can actually tell you a thing or two. If you want to knock it off. Like, if you really want to be a method actor, I would love to talk to my old friend again about wrestling.
Yeah.
Want to have that talk, but you're going to call me a monkey and follow me around.
You know what? I just thought of, we're sitting here talking about places that you don't normally see wrestling at. Have you guys ever watched like the Subway Mania they do in New York City?
Yeah, that's a great example of what we're talking about. Yeah.
Dude, that shit's fucking funny. They just had the Hardy Boys show up for that like a few weeks ago.
Oh, like the real Hardy Boys.
The actual Hardy Boys were there. Yeah. And that's how guys like what was it, Cocaine and Blue Cane kind of got popular. That kind of shit.
Cocaine, yeah.
Yeah, Cocaine.
I mean, all that stuff is fun. It's absurdism. I mean, it's a good time. After the whole thing was over, I found Freya and I said, "This is another high water mark." Like really,
Ribbon.
Consider this to be another one of the great things that you have been a part of and have accomplished, because I thought it was a great time.
I would love to see them do it at an amusement park or carnival, like traveling carnival.
So OVW used to do shows at Kentucky.
I would. So especially carnivals, considering
it's from the carnival.
Yeah, the terminology.
Yeah, it started as a carnival thing. So
I want to see. them do it at a water park on a pool.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, yeah.
Like do like a Royal Rumble where they're knocking guys over into the
So remember when I told you I wanted them to do it at the river, like in the river, like set up in the river and just have them throw
I
them
mean,
over.
that would be better than seeing guys take bumps on that concrete. That's
The old
Exactly.
I like to see stuff like that.
That's what we're talking about. Set up a ring in the river.
I want them to have a Royal Rumble on the Belle of Louisville.
Oh man.
Absolutely
I think
not.
there's room. I think you would need like a barge, like one
Brawl on the Belle. Book it.
Absolutely not.
A brawl on the Belle.
Nope.
Somebody book it right now.
Not on our bell. We'll
That would be
destroy-
so
Yeah.
fucking goddamn
I do
fun.
not want to see the bell destroyed
Be
in
great.
any way.
Well, they could just
That's
do
a
a
good
brawl on the
point.
barge. They could just get on a big old barge and fucking
There
have
we
it
go.
out
On the
there.
barge,
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Belle of Louisville's a quite literal historic landmark.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Can't
Yeah.
fuck that up. That kind of shit is what I want. Like because I mean, yeah, it's all about, yes, we have to have an arena,
Mhm.
which let's just face it, it's a TV set. Um, right? It's a set. It's a studio. But I want shit like, let's go to fucking like Eddie's classic used car lot and let them do a fucking
I want WWE to do one at White Castle
match.
parking lot. Not White Castle, fuck, Waffle House.
WWE in a Waffle House?
Yes.
Dude, no.
Yep.
I would never do that.
Yep. That's what I
I
want.
feel like car lots was the thing they used to do. I feel like I've seen like
Well, they did the grocery
great
store
moolah,
thing. Booker
like
T
at
and
a car
Yeah.
lot has
they
been
did the grocery store thing, Booker T and Stone Cold. That was fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think like grocery
Don't need
store.
to see that.
Like I think
Raven
if you
hasn't seen
see
that yet.
something that would happen at more places, like what we're
Kroger.
talking about is the thing that used to happen a lot, before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it feels like a whole new idea.
Yeah. This needs to be a for real thing. Like this needs to happen. We need
They need
like
to get back to their roots.
this need yeah, you need to the bat to our roots tour. And they just do like, 12 dates or some shit.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's up to
Year.
us. We gotta start trying to find places.
And then
that'll take
fucking
it
like
on.
book the subway and
Yeah. I don't know. I'm wary about outside shows. The one outside show I was a part of is kind of infamously known across the internet as like the worst wrestling show to ever be recorded across the history of space and time.
Is that the one that's on YouTube?
Yeah. I wrestled in that show.
That was terrible. Yeah.
That was awful.
Yeah.
We
Where are
could do
some
an entire
places
episode about that one.
I was gonna say, where are some places that you wrestled that you thought was kind of weird?
So one that I specifically wanted to talk about because it's just a constant in my life. So it's one of the animal themed clubs. There's the elks and the moose and all that stuff. So I don't want the Eagles Club. I don't remember what specific one it is in Crawfordsville.
Okay.
It's one of the animals themed one. And without getting too much into it because for brevity, but Rachel's grandfather rents out the banquet hall of this same place every year, and I think to myself, well,
Is that
I jumped
weird
off
for
that
you?
stage and drop kicked the guy. Yeah, I won my first championship in that little banquet hall. And it's just like we had to book it there instead of where we usually did because there was some other shit going on. And it was just one of those things that was like, huh, I'll never think of this place again. And sure enough, every year, every December, I'm there in the same place. And I get to be that guy, and I'm like, yep, I want a championship belt in here. And my kids are like, yeah, Dad, we know.
I don't think I'm gonna ever drive by that White Castle.
One before.
I don't think I'm ever gonna drive by that White Castle downtown in Louisville now and think about the same way. I'm like, and that's where Cal won the Crave case at.
And also true of the speed.
Yeah.
Always sort of, especially that particular part of the speed, I'll always think about.
Yeah, we drove by the speed the other day, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember watching some wrestling in there. That was fucking great. Like like I remember I was kind of paying attention to because where the White Castle was at is quite literally like in downtown Louisville. It's on a very busy one-way street.
I wasn't sure where it was at.
And I was just like, there's buses that go by, and I'm like, man, if I was a kid, I was like, and I was in downtown Indy, and I got to see that. Like, I'm driving by, and I'm seeing dudes getting thrown over the top rope while I'm on a bus. I would have lost my shit. I'm like, oh my God.
Stop.
I would have pulled the fucking cord. Like, we're getting off here, dude. Like,
Oh yeah,
it
right here.
was
This is
bad.
my stop. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's kind of
Yeah,
why
man.
I really love the fact that they've been having WCWO at the local conventions, because
Yes.
if I need a break, or if I need to just sit and chill for a minute, or if we've got, I've already eaten and there's still an hour before our next panel or whatever, it's been a constant thing over the last several shows that I can just go watch some fucking wrestling for free,
You know
and
what
that
they need
makes
to
me the
do
happiest.
next year at PopCon
Hmm.
is they need to make the WCWO part of the vendor hall and make that the area where people go sit and eat. So that way it's in the vendor hall.
Might be
You
kind
can
of
walk
loud.
by it. Nah, it's all right. That's better than that guy that's like $5 to play that was doing that the whole fucking weekend. I wanted to like close on.
It wasn't in the vendor hall.
Yeah, that was out in the walkway.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
He's there every year.
yeah. I just want that. I want like go back to bingo halls, dude. Go back to fucking like
I always hear about
Mhm.
bingo
oh,
halls, but I've never known
I
about.
have never wrestled in a bingo hall.
Yeah, like
Um,
it's like Strapes and Trains, man. It's
yeah, I've never
Now,
seen it. I've never
it's like
seen
seeing
wrestling
a
at a bingo
hobo with a
hall.
stick with a napkin full of
With the
food.
yeah,
sack
Like
on
I
him.
literally have heard about it, never seen it. Assume it came.
I haven't wrestled a place like that. However, I have only like legitimate places wrestled before, but
They should do like
you know, never with
VFW
hobos.
presents
I was
VW
literally gonna say
at the
VFW.
good old
Yeah.
VFW.
Yeah, I'm sure
Here's
that
one.
happens a lot too in America.
How about at a nursing home?
Are you
Fuck
trying
yeah.
to give these people heart attacks?
No, listen,
Hey,
old people love wrestling.
old
I
Old
know
people
people
love
they
that
do.
fucking
shit.
love
The old
wrestling.
Yeah,
lady at the wrestling
fuck
show.
yeah.
That is a time honored tradition.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's the
Uh,
crowd that appreciates it the most.
there was,
absolutely.
I think the last time that WCW or not WCW, Jesus, AEW was at the Yum Center, there
Yeah.
was actually 4 old ladies in wheelchairs that were wheeled in, and they were
Oh,
so
really?
excited to see AEW wrestling.
That's fucking cool.
That's gonna be me
Hell
one of
yeah.
I
That's
fuck
a
with that
real
shit.
thing. That's a real thing.
Hell yeah.
And I mean Norman Reigns wasn't even on that card.
Norman
I know,
Reigns.
I thought of that
Reigns.
too.
I'm here for
Right.
That's
fucking
funny.
wrestling.
That's a kind of person you see at a
I
wrestling show.
don't give a fuck
Oh
what
yeah.
time it is.
It's 3 o'clock in
Uh,
the morning. I don't give a fuck what time it is. 5 a.m. I'm watching my fucking wrestling. That's me. I don't give a
Damn
shit.
right.
Wrestling is good.
You should get
Wrestling is
that lady
consumable.
on. I'm sure
Wrestling
that
is consumable at any
you're
time of
excited
day.
to go.
Yeah, fuck.
That lady's great.
Yeah.
No, another one that I thought of while we're talking about this real quick is because you brought up Tony Gunn earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of like the first shows that I did. I was super
Yeah.
green, and he was
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
And this wrestling show was like in an abandoned storefront in like the downtown area of this town. Um, like you could just be
That's
taking like a
cool.
main street stroll, and then one of the stores was gutted, and there was just like a wrestling ring and chairs in there. And I'm not
That's
sure how long.
awesome.
I'm not sure how long they'd been using this place, but it was like one of those things where a friend of mine was like, "Hey, I know a guy who needs to fill out a show, and he said he's willing to take some of the newer guys." And I was like, "Yo, I need some experience. Let's do this. I'm signing up right now." And man, the second I walked in there, I'm like, "How legit is this place?" And then I walked in the back, and I'm like, "Okay, I recognize some of these people. All right, I'm not afraid to be here now." But it was one of those things that I definitely didn't get paid that day. Um,
That's cool.
I
I
think
got the hot dog and a handshake on that one, but it was just kind of just weird because it was in the middle of downtown, just in a building.
That reminds me, like I started to say something about music venues, like old music
like
venues.
amphitheaters.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
no, old music venues. So like
Oh, okay.
remember when we lived in Indy, the Irving, they had
Oh yeah,
wrestling
like a
show.
Oh
theater.
I
yeah,
never got, did you get to go to one?
I never went in
I
there,
didn't
but
get to go to
I
one.
never went to one.
Yeah, but they were having wrestling shows there at the
They
Irving.
had Braun Strowman and EC3 did a show there once.
Yeah, that's
It's right
right.
before
Yeah.
Braun Strowman
oh,
went
the
back to
control your
WWE.
narrative.
This
Oh,
was
Yes,
like
the control your
right,
narrative.
yeah, this was like right when I was starting to get into it.
Yeah. I had an
oh,
idea.
Brian, you drug her to that?
No, we did not go to
No,
that. Yeah.
unfortunately
Oh
didn't
yeah,
get to go.
I have no
no, no,
desire
no,
to purposely go. I have
you
no
would not
desire to
have liked
purposely go
CYN
see.
Raven.
I have no desire to purposely go see EC3. I'm
Yeah,
not a big fan of it. Um,
No, but we like Braun Strowman.
well, I like Braun Strowman though. I had an idea. What about like a bruises and booze type of place where it's like an arcade bar, but it's like a wrestling bar
No,
where they have a permanent.
Bruises
nope,
and brawls.
It doesn't have to be
nope. Because
alcohol. No, it doesn't have
people
to be
will want
alcohol.
to get involved, huh?
Yeah, I
No,
don't
no, no,
know
no, no.
about
It doesn't have to be
your
alcohol.
branding might be a little off, but I think I like where you're going with it.
Okay, okay.
I don't think it has to be. It doesn't need to be alcohol involved. It could be like one of those mismatch type places that has
Okay.
like that that has like it could be like an arcade, a wrestling arcade, a wrestle arcade type place. It's got it's got a permanent wrestling ring housed in it,
Okay.
but it's also like a restaurant, like
Okay,
side of it, like a hybrid. Like a Kentako Hut, but like
might be a
it's
little
pro
too
wrestling.
high concept. There used to be a comic shop in town that had a diner in it,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
didn't work.
But I don't know,
Oh man.
maybe some
People
sort of
didn't want
hybrid.
hoagies the same places they bought their comic books.
Maybe some sort of hybrid like that. No one's done that, I don't think. Has anyone done that? Is there such a restaurant that already has a ring that they do their own
Um,
shows?
No,
Not
I
that
mean,
they
yeah,
actually do
it's always when
shows
the
in.
ring
No.
will come in. They come and set up a ring.
Well, I mean, the ring's just like a side part of the restaurant. It's just closed off.
I don't know. I mean,
You
they
know.
can tear down a ring pretty quick. I mean, I don't mean to be contrary. I get what you're saying, but it's
No,
like
no, you're good.
it's not difficult to bring in and bring out
Mm,
a ring.
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to do it, but
I mean, it's not
Well, if
easy
you don't
either.
need, well, if you
right.
don't
Hold on.
need to, if you don't need to though, and it's just housed there, like it's just
Yeah.
there. It's like part of the thing, right? I don't know. Could be interesting. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like a hybrid type restaurant meets wrestling, mix smash type deal. Those are pretty popular.
Okay.
Like those types of concept restaurants are kind of popular
No,
in
you're
other
not wrong
things.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah, like a I don't know, like a Hard Rock Cafe for pro wrestling, maybe that kind of
You
deal.
like a themed
WWE have
restaurant
like a big
where all the
Times
waiters and
Square in the 2000.
waitresses.
Was that a thing? I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
What's that, Rocco?
In the 2000s, wasn't there like a WWE thing at Times Square where they had like a restaurant or something?
WWE. You're thinking of WWE New York, WWF New
Hmm.
York. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and that's
yeah.
that's actually where Hard Rock Cafe in New York City is
And
now.
Shotgun
That's what I
Saturday
thought.
Night
Yeah.
was filmed there sometimes,
Shotgun
wasn't it?
Saturday Night and Sunday Night Heat were filmed there. Yeah,
Yep.
So yeah.
yeah. That could be a fun thing, but it doesn't have to be necessarily like WWE's involved in it.
Hmm.
I
I
think
mean,
if
it
you do like
helps that they are because they got the money.
I would love a place like that where they have memorabilia and shit. I
All the
mean,
waiters and
I mean, it
waitresses
sounds like
are
the kind
dressed
of
like
thing that somebody
wrestlers.
would do
yeah.
when they get a big inheritance and they don't know what to do with it. So they
Or maybe you do like
start a
you
wrestling restaurant.
maybe you don't even have like a wrestling ring. I mean, you kind of want. If we're talking about places we want to see wrestling happen, you have the ring as there so that the restaurant can say, "Hey, this next Saturday we're having this wrestling show here," and then that what that means is other promotions can book to do a show there, not that the restaurant has its own promotion and has its own shows there. Makes sense.
Hmm.
It's a venue that has a restaurant attached to it, but also has a ring and like a sort of an arena set up attached to the same thing. Um, I think Josh. I think Josh is kind of going with a sort of a Hooters aspect where the
No, no,
entire
no, no, not
restaurant
Hooters.
is
Come on.
themed and
You're telling me
everybody's
you wouldn't
dressed
be
up as like
excited
characters.
if Ric Flair came out? Whoa! How can I take your order, please?
You know,
You know what? I think it'd
no,
be great.
I want a restaurant that's like Dick's Last Resort, but it's all heels
I was just gonna say.
and they cut promos on you and they're in gear and they talk shit. That'd be
Imagine
funny
Macho
as
Man and Sensational Sherry coming out and telling you, "You
yeah.
ain't shit.
And the
You ain't
whole
shit."
menu is wrestling themed items that you can eat and drink.
Yes,
And they're all heels. You just I don't know, you incorporate the word heel into the restaurant name and I think that kind of go over. You
I
know.
would eat there every fucking day.
It's some funny shit.
I would do it.
I'm down for that. Let's do that. Let's
Let's
fucking
do
go.
it.
We might have an idea on our hands. The first ever heel pro wrestling restaurant where you come in and they fucking cut promos on you and talk shit. That's the whole experience. There's
Yeah.
no baby faces. You can't have faces in there. Would be weird.
Nope.
can't do that. It's gonna be heels specifically. And they're all like, you could have a luchador guy, and he'll say, shit like, "Oh, if you think I'm here to serve you all the tacos on the menu, just talk shit like about, make it like that, make it funny." I would
Yeah,
do that in a
that'd
heartbeat.
be
That'd be
great.
funny stuff. All right, guys, we got to wrap this up. We are at an hour and 34 minutes into this show, so we're gonna go ahead and go. But
Of
thank you guys
premium
so
content.
much for taking the time to listen to this episode of A Bunch of Mark. Whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and more, we do appreciate you, especially if you're over on Good Pods. We do appreciate you as well, guys. You can also leave comments and interact with us on each episode if you're listening over on Spotify, or if you're listening on Good Pods, you can leave comments on there. And so let us know what you think about WWE Unreal. Let us know your thoughts on the match that Raven reacted to, and let us know on maybe some places you've seen pro wrestling that you thought was kind of weird, or maybe
I'm interested in
some things that you want to, maybe some places you've already seen pro wrestling that were kind of weird, right? But other than that, thanks so much for hanging out with us, and special thanks to, once again, our friend of the show, Rocko Jerome, for joining us. And we appreciate having you here, Rocko. We're definitely going to have you back in the future for sure. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks so
Bye,
much.
guys. Sir.
Peace.